Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. We're going to all stand for the pledge. The flag is above your head. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of
United States of America
and to the
republic stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for fallen first responders. I also would like to point out that Fred Gardner, a former member of the Fairfield Hook and Ladder and former fire commissioner, died since our last meeting. So please remember him in your prayers. Thank you. Need a motion for approval of the minutes? Second, that was Liam. Please, it's particularly hard, so I need everybody to speak up and say your name before you start to speak. I actually want to point out, for Jude, Rob is here, Bill is here, Joe is here, I'm here, Bill, the chief,
Kieran
deputy chief, and Union.
and Beverly is online.
And Beverly is on the line. That's right. Thank you. And the other person on the line is
Norma and
Norma.
Madam Chair, I missed page 2 of the minutes. Is that just me?
Hang on a second. No, you're right. This copy doesn't have page 2.
Apparently you it's close attention.
Well, I didn't look at this copy. Online, I'm thinking it's probably there. But since we do not all have page 2, I will defer approval of the minutes to next
I
month.
recommend that you table.
Thank you. Chairman's report.
Page 2.
Got nominations come up, we'll deal with that. Where the chief will brief you on progress on recruiting efforts. I saw the first public advertisement on Facebook this week, so that was great. I thought the video was outstanding. I showed it to a friend who has nothing to do with it and very impressed. So that's all great.
That was really happy.
Yeah, it's excellent. Is that going to be launched after tomorrow?
It will be shown at 1:25 just before the recruit program begins, and then we'll post it live and disseminate it wide and far as we can.
With that, Chief, you're up.
So I wanted to brief you and add on to the discussion that was introduced by the chairwoman. You received a copy of the recruitment project that we're working on in the department. You should have got that by email, and I'll make sure, because a comment was made at a previous commission meeting that things sent to the commission need to be posted to the minutes, so we'll make sure that they're part of the minutes. So let me just hit the highlights. One, we have started the recruitment for the testing process that will run in March. Recruitment or the application period is open until February 11th. We have 13 departments that are participating, and each one of them has received that advertisement, and some have modified it for their own use or slightly put their own imprint on it. But it is being disseminated. And the other non-consortium departments, several of them have offered to disseminate it as well. So we're working on that. The recruit video that the commissioner mentioned was done by Alex Vishno and A2V Media. Did a great job, went up with the deputy, and Lieutenant Smith, who's a PIO, spent a day at the fire academy, or half at the academy and half at the live burn. What you saw in that video is unscripted. And it is amazing that they were so articulate, and so appropriate to the recruitment. I don't know what kind of instructions that they got, but it was very mental. And they spoke from the heart. We saw that. And I think that that resonates with the candidates. I did share it with the City of Bridgeport Fire Department recruitment team to get their feedback on it. And they did say that they were very impressed. It was a great video. A lieutenant pointed out the African-American woman said, nobody looked like me on that video. Need to make sure that, when you're going through this process, you're mindful of the audience and the, joke that, Karen and I, the deputy and I, are not the faces to put in a recruitment video, or the chief of the department, and how it is, this next generation, they want to affiliate with an organization that they would be comfortable in. Did get a great comment from this woman. She was on in the City of Bridgeport, went down to Greenwich to apply for a job, and the comment made in HR in Greenwich, she had been on in Bridgeport for a couple of years. The comment that was made by HR in Greenwich, "Oh, we're so happy to have you. You'll be our first." And she said, "Okay, thank you very much. I'll stay in Bridgeport." So it is a complicated subject. It's a difficult subject. There's a lot of ways to get tripped up. And so we're working carefully and diligently with other partners. City of Bridgeport has agreed. City of Bridgeport has agreed to share the application with all of their last recruitment effort. So all of their applicants, the last test, City of Bridgeport did what will as well, which is the greatest resource of interested candidates and will represent a lot of diversity. So we'll continue to work on the video and the dissemination. We have here at the fire school with a number of local organizations, high schools, middle school, these counselors, a couple of programs in Bridgeport to get in front of students and young people, Wakeman's Boys and Girls Club, and we'll continue to reach out to them to not so much for this cycle, but for a future. It's starting to plant the seeds for opportunities as a career in public safety. So we talked the last time about the police department explorers. The deputy and I met with the police chief and the deputy last night. As a matter of fact, we've had ongoing conversations. We are going to partner with them to participate for now in their explorer group, go to where a successful operation. Both the chief and the deputy were very excited to have us participate. It shares some of the workload, gives some variety to the program, and they think that we will have a welcoming audience there. So working on all of that, and we'll continue to, over the course of time, certainly far beyond the February 11th closing of the application, but this is work that has to be done year-round. We have not begun the process for the gyms, but certainly the gyms and churches are on our radar. We did get some feedback. Military Academy in Bridgeport that is really for public safety and public service oriented high school students. City of Bridgeport said they came up zero in their recruitment effort for graduates out of that program. So we want to learn from them and go where there are opportunities. But it's interesting that some of the obvious options sometimes don't bear fruit. We have worked, tried to reach out to the statewide organizations that I had listed, and we'll continue to reach out to them. I think the video will be an attractive option for them because it's something that they can share readily and don't have to do a lot of, there's not a lot of work involved. I talked about the Bridgeport recruitment team. Shelley Carter. Shelley Carter is retired captain from the Hartford Fire Department. She is now the Operations and Training Coordinator for the Department of Emergency Services and Homeland Security. She runs a girls camp, firefighter camp. Girls Future Firefighter Camp is the name of it. It's a national organization. She has spearheaded the delivery in Connecticut. And she and I have connected to see if there is an opportunity for us to offer that in this region for candidates or interested young women. And they have the national organization behind it. So hopefully that will be something that we can work with Captain Carter on to reach out to women in particular. And on that note, we have our candidates, our recruits are graduating tomorrow from the Connecticut Fire Academy, including one female candidate. And we just learned that the next person on our list, Mackenzie Jaradovic, who has been struggling to pass CPAT, spent the first part of the week in Florida and has passed. So she will be our next candidate going to the February Fire Academy. And going back to my comment earlier about Lieutenant Moore's experience in Greenwich, it's good to have somebody else in the department. So there is a camaraderie and sharing. I did speak yesterday with a woman who was up at a conference at the Boston Fire Academy, and they're running a program for women up there. And these are opportunities we hope to encourage women who are joining the department. There are organizations out there to help them navigate some of the issues that they may have joining what has been predominantly a male, an exclusively male organization.
How many seats do we expect to have in February, resignations and new hires?
So we expect that we have a pending retirement, and we have another candidate, a firefighter from Charleston, South Carolina, and he has already been through an 18-week fire academy. If we'll seek approval to hire the two of them, one will go to the academy and one will come straight on to the department. There may be some work that we need to do to refresh or update his training, but we'll work through those issues. Yeah, the two.
Yes, thank you.
The deputy and I have been working on developing a list of candidates that are geographically local and with an eye towards an orientation that will occur right after the first of the year for applicants or pending applicants. And we'll make sure that not only do we do applicant orientation, but also a CPAT orientation. And we're working with the Connecticut Fire Academy. It's Sarah Decker, who's a local trainer. I think that she has her master's or PhD in exercise physiology, as well as Cesar, can't pronounce his last name, from the Fire Academy, a PT coordinator there, developing a CPAT program. And also trying to, that CPAT prep equipment is very expensive. Bridgeport owns some. Bridgeport comes here and uses our facility. We're hoping that we can have a reciprocal agreement with them for that. And you have in your email the timeline for the testing process. So we're going to march forward and continue our recruitment efforts and outreach for immediate applications as well as future interest in public safety careers. I'll pause there. Do you have any questions?
Questions, Commissioners? On the phone, any questions? Everly?
Yes, I'm sorry. I do not have any questions. It's very difficult. It's very,
Virtual and make sure if you had any questions.
Yes, I do not have any questions, but it's very difficult to hear well because the sound, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to be as attentive as possible. So,
I'm going to suggest who's ever speaking, go stand by the speaker. And solve it that way.
Yep.
See if that helps,
Awesome.
Beverly.
awesome. Thank you so much.
The remainder of my report, I spoke previously about concerns about EMS and AMR. We have a group, the deputy, myself, Lieutenant Pinkney, Skylar Sherwood, and Scott Bisson, who are evaluating the EMS issues. We get a monthly report on-time performance from AMR. It was 91% on-time performance, which was within their the expected performance standards, and it was 90 in September. Went down in August. Went down to 88% in October. Back up to 91%. We are meeting on Monday with representatives from the two hospitals because there is a backlog that occurs at the hospital as they are dropping off patients to the hospital, and they can't get out of the hospital quick enough to the next call. So we want to look at every piece of the response to make sure that we identify any of the problem areas, and the hospitals are one of them. Not only are they taking longer to get out of the hospital, but the hospitals are looking to have the paramedics come work directly at the hospital to backfill against a nursing shortage. So less paramedics on the road, less ambulances available, longer response times. All of those issues are in the mix. I'm happy that we got back above 90%. And our goal is to keep the pressure on. I think that we've got their attention. It is a nationwide problem. I'm not sure if I shared a news report that was in the Post with the commission, but there was an article recently about nationwide there is a paramedic and shortage and an EMS crisis. So it's not something that there is a quick fix or a silver bullet, but we are working diligently to identify all of the options available to us. The deputy and I are working on the budget and have submitted at least the initial cut, but we have some more work to do and daily communications with the finance department to fine tune that, particularly as it relates to capital budget and what may come out of the ARPA money. We have put in for 2 vehicles. There is, you may have seen, a plan to replace the town hall fleet. Will be included in that. 2 electric vehicles for the fire department, 2 electric vehicles for the police department. The trouble is, not a lot of affordable electric vehicles that are available. Not a lot of vehicles, not a lot of availability. So we'll try to push that off to the end of the performance period for ARPA, so we're not rushing in to be the beta test for a Ford F-150 Lightning or some other electric vehicle. Part of that plan is to provide electric charging stations that serve both the police department and the fire department. We'll find a location that's suitable for both organizations and look for long-term charging station ports that not just for the immediate 4 vehicles, but can be expanded for additional vehicles as we go forward. And lastly, there are 2 donations. One $50 donation from Phil Kellerman in honor of Bob Shulman. Bob is a CERT member and parish court manager. Deputy, if you wanted to add anything about Bob, I don't know him that well, or Norma, if you wanted to comment about Bob Shulman while we're reviewing the donation.
Well, I'm happy to comment if I might.
Go right ahead, Norma.
He's a very dedicated member of CERT. He's our equipment manager and takes it very seriously. And he certainly is very involved in not only parish court, but other public safety issues regarding his company.
And, a great example of the dedication of CERT members, credit to the organization. In addition to that $50 donation, there is a $1,000 donation from the Shaq Sackler Foundation. As you recall, our conversations in the past, we have chosen by vote of the commission to accept the donation and ensure with the assurance that it is specifically targeted for EMS related activities in the department and where possible for public fire education for EMS. And I would recommend that we accept both of those donations with that stipulation for the Shaq Sackler Foundation donation.
Any motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to accept both donations with the stipulation that the donation from the Shackler Foundation be used exclusively for EMS operations and supplies.
Second.
In education?
Education.
Got it. Thank you.
So the motion was by Joe and the second was by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Did you have something you wanted to catch? Okay.
No.
Okay, then you're up next.
Madam Chair, I have one question for the chief.
Yes, sorry.
Chief, can you give me the status of the ECC?
Yeah. Question if you would be.
So the question was from Bill Fitzpatrick, Commissioner Fitzpatrick, regarding the ECC. As I said, we met with the chief and the deputy last night from the police department. We're planning on a tour for the Board of Fire Commissioners, the Board of Finance, RTM, and Board of Selectmen. We'll probably do that in the next couple of weeks if we can get it in before Christmas. The expected opening is mid-January. It is a real piece of work that it's an extraordinary piece of work that they've done to create that facility. Our own Assistant Chief Eric Caliper, has been engaged in that process from the beginning, and it's very technical, very detailed, and we're lucky that we've had one of our members in on the planning team to build and organize what should be an extraordinary leap forward in public safety. If you think of one or two or three people in a dispatch center when an emergency strikes, and I think back of how overloaded they were in Newtown during Sandy Hook. You need bodies to do all of the work that needs to be done at dispatch, and it's important for firefighters and police officers to have ample staff to be able to process information quickly, understand what it is, and get information out to the units in the field. And if there is ever a benefit of this joint communication center, is it will put more bodies in there that are trained and equipped with the latest technology to provide that level of service. It is an improvement in the level of service that we can give the public that are calling in for help, and the level of service we can give to police officers and firefighters in the field. But we're looking forward, and you should expect an invitation. And there will be several opportunities to get in there if the date that is posted is not convenient. But we do want to make sure that we open it up, as Westport did for some of their elected officials.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, and Deputy, you're up.
Okay, so among our notable operations, some of the incidents that we had during the month, if you saw on Facebook, we had a rescue of a homeowner from a roof on December 5th. It wasn't a complicated incident, but it highlights the great routine work that just happens every day, but just also the kindness of our people. So a person was trying to get leaves off of her roof and got stuck up there. Our tower ladder too went up and put the bucket up, they took the person down, but then firefighter Eddie Walsh noticed that the leaves were still in the gutter, that she hadn't finished, so he donned the leaf blower and he blew out the leaves in the gutter. I mean, that's just what he did. Nobody told him to do that, and that's just how our guys are. So we're proud of the actions of our people that reflect so nicely on the department. We had a fire in the boiler room at Blackstone Grill on Post Road, and that was a quick stop. The people, when our companies got on the scene, people were out in the street. They had evacuated the building. Our people made quick work of it and kept the damage confined and limited, and smoke damage limited. We had a pretty substantial fire at Assumption Church and I think, when was that? That was November 7th. So that was right after our last meeting. And a passerby, fortunately, a passerby in the middle of the night happened to see it. If not, it would have been delayed because there was no smoke detector system within the church, because it wasn't required at the time. But our people got there very quickly, even though Engine 3 was on a call. Engine 2 got there very quickly, and they got a line in there, and they kept it to one wing of the church near where the votive candles were. Fire was coming out the roof on the outside of that, bump out of the church. They kept damage to a minimum. When I got there, I saw that the smoke was just right at head level. So just think of a church like Assumption with smoke at head level. So think of it going all the way up to the peak of the church and up the organ loft and the pipes, and they were all in the midst of smoke. But our people then started ventilating with mechanical ventilation and tried to ameliorate the situation as quickly as they could. Another great stop, great work by our people, among many other incidents that happened during the month. Chief was talking about that we're soon be processing the candidates for CFA Class 69, so that's going to be coming soon. We also, in regards to recruitment, we said we've been in contact with members of Ward and Ludlow schools and the library team. I forget what their title is, but Ludlow and Ward just set up yesterday and today, set up dates in January for their not a career day, but it's, come because we're going to have the firefighters talk about their their occupation, their vocation. So we're going to send a few people up there in early January. The library is planning on having a program also. We just haven't hammered out the details with them, what's convenient, but that will be forthcoming. In emergency management, we're working on a town grant application request and a 14-point document, or all the background that we have to do. We're working on the application for an AFG, it's Assistance to Firefighters Grant for 2021 fiscal year, and what it will be used for is to buy. Right now, we have about 28 masks which are within the correct years, or the most up-to-date years. We then have 38 masks which are not, and we want to bring them up to to the same the same standards. The problem is that right now, since we're in with two different standards, we're not totally compatible for some of our rescuing. If the firefighter becomes incapacitated, we want to have compatible equipment so that we can plug into them and bring them out, or at least while we're working on them, trying to free them from some situation, we're able to give them buddy breathing from a RIT pack, or from our own masks. So so what we're looking for is 358,000, I believe, grant, which we'll have to pay probably about $92,000, we believe, in local share and match, and so it's a great value if we do get this. And we've been honing the application. We've been using the Newtown grant coordinator to run by to give us some pointers. We've had a couple other people in the know from another department, put in some pointers, some suggestions they made based on some favorable applications they had. And so we've been trying to work on it. Skylar Sherwood is the main point person on this, who's a very talented person. So that's coming down the pipe. We're also still working on reporting for the PSG, the Port Security Grant, where we got monies on a 3-year performance period, and we're in year 2 to do many things for our Marine 228. So we got software to be able to be compatible with the Coast Guard for search and rescue. One of the other projects was repowering the boat, getting 2 new engines, and another portion that we just completed was CBRN equipment. So that's chemical, biological, nuclear, explosive detection equipment, and we've installed that. So we just have a small part to finish in the spring, which is just updating a few $1,000s worth of lighting. And then we'll have that whole, I believe that was 217,000. It was a good number of money that we got from them. So that was another great grant that we were able to do, mainly on the work of Assistant Chief Roger Case. So we have a lot of talent and saving the department a lot of money, getting equipment that is not nice to have, it's neat to have. So it's a lot of great success that way. In regard to the facilities, the Station 1 dorm, we're preparing that. We're trying to clean it up, as we said the last time. We're trying to partition it a bit. So we took all the furniture out the other day, or all the members of Station 1 took all the furniture out the other day. DPW is they're ripping up the carpet. They are patching the walls. They're going to paint it tomorrow. We're going to get carpet put down, and then we're going to have Red Thread, who did all this furniture in this school. They're going to come and do partitions so that there'll be a little bit of privacy for the new firefighters, including a female firefighter that is coming out of the fire academy in a couple days, tomorrow actually. And we had a bathroom planning meeting with James Ryan in purchasing, so we're still moving along on that. It's a difficult project to move along, but there's a little bit.
Yes.
Yes, it's getting there. Yes, and yes. And I think the question was, did we consult any female firefighters? And the chief did make it a point to consult female firefighters in the design of that bathroom facilities project. And that concludes my report for tonight.
Thank you. Any questions, commissioners?
That's Norma.
Hi, good evening.
Commissioner, oh
Can you
no.
hear me?
Someone's got a request on mute.
Yes, hi, could you hear me? It's Beverly.
Yes, we
Yes.
can, Commissioner.
Okay, awesome. Going back to the EMS, I just had a question about, do you guys support contracting with private companies like Community Ambulance since you guys don't have enough people, enough staff?
Could you repeat the question, Commissioner?
Right, I apologize. Could you hear me well?
Yep, now I can.
I said, do you guys support contracting with other private companies like Community Ambulance Services regarding the EMS shortage? You claim that you don't have enough workers, you can't find enough employees to work with EMS?
So the availability, first, the availability of paramedics is universal nationwide.
Okay. Okay.
So everybody is challenged, regardless of whether it's AMR that we currently use in Fairfield or any of the other private providers, larger or smaller. What AMR does have, or has done, excuse me, is increase their pay structure, provide bonuses. They have really worked hard to make it a more attractive employment option. But it's hard work. And if you're a paramedic with AMR, you're working a lot. Where some of the more suburban and rural ambulance services are not as grueling grueling shift work. The AMR has the right, the primary service area, PSA is referred to as essentially a contract arrangement between AMR and the state of Connecticut. In order to dislodge them from that position, we have to demonstrate failure to meet basic standards for emergency response. And that's part of the work that we're doing, not necessarily with the express intent of replacing them, because we're not sure that replacing them will yield any better solution from anybody else. But really to understand if there are opportunities to improve the level of service that they're providing. And once we go through that process, we'll make a determination whether to make a recommendation to stay with AMR or seek another alternative. So
Correct. I was not suggesting that you replace. I was suggesting that maybe you add, right? That, like you're stating, to add another company.
yeah,
to
it's not
but-
within our purview to
Got it.
add to their system. If they were to, as a matter of fact, if they want to put another ambulance on the road to add, if they had the staff for it, they have to get approval through the State Department of Health Office of Emergency Services. So there's a process. They own the responsibility and the right to provide emergency ambulance service in the town of Fairfield, as well as Bridgeport and New Haven area. We need to make sure that we're getting the absolute best service that we possibly can for the citizens of Fairfield, and that's the work that we're doing. We don't have the ability to contract in additional services.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, South Pole volunteer, anybody here? No, okay. Yes, I did. So I do have an email from Stratfield. They apologize for not updating us last month. There was an email sent, but evidently I did not get it. As has been customary for a number of years, the department has recently sent out their year-end fundraising letter to the Fairfield community. It's their primary means of fundraising. This is something the commission is well aware of and has approved in the past. And it's really about maintaining their ability to do things like purchase new protective equipment and provide the training they need to keep their members active. They have brought in a couple of new members that are certified firefighters, and we'll be working to bring them up to speed in terms of the protocols. And they are looking to purchase 3 new sets of turnout gear in the future. As the numbers in COVID arise, they are working to normalize their operations in an obviously difficult transition. They've gone to virtual meetings and those kinds of adaptations that we've all made. They're doing training as required, most recently annual bloodborne and airborne pathogens from OSHA. Their canning bottle, by the way, as a reminder, they collect bottles the second Saturday of each month from 9 to 12. It's an outside event, so they continue to do it, and it's a safe, easy way to redeem books, and it gives them a bit more cash toward their fundraising. That is from Basic Privilege. I can't answer any questions if you have them, so we will not do that. And we have an update of some sort from Local 1426, so please go ahead to the mic, please.
Sure.
I should have gone to the mic, I apologize.
Bill Tuttle, President, Local 1426. Good evening. The main thing that the local has going on right now is we're in negotiations. We're 6 months without a contract. I don't see that that's going to change anytime soon, which is unfortunate. In general, it leads to morale issues at some point, especially when everyone sees all their bills going up and their checks staying the same every week. The slow going isn't without breaking the ground rules. I don't think it's contention. I would say it's just
Scheduling.
yes, and applauding sort of lack of urgency. We have for fun, we have the Santa Ride coming up this week. It was started by the union. It's got to be 15 years ago now, and run by our charitable arm for the last 10 years. Started off with 20 families, maybe. I think this year they're up to 300. At some point, unfortunately, we're going to get to a breaking point. You know, it's very hard on Bob Smith, who's been running it this whole time, to say no to anybody. But at some point, it's just we don't have the bandwidth to do it all. We're exploring other options to try and satisfy more people in less time. That was all I had pre-programmed. A couple of things that came up during here for the union's opinions on it. For the grants, we think grants are fantastic. I've offered to the people who write the grants here that the International Association of Firefighters, we keep a staff just for grant writing in Washington, D.C. And we don't use just, hey, I know somebody, you know, these aren't even grant writers. What they are is they're people, the people we hire, the people that read and approve the grants are a rotating committee. When they rotate out, we hire them so that they know the words that are supposed to go in there and how you're supposed to write things to get it done. And it's had a lot of success in other places when they use it, and it's a free service to us. EMS, like the chief was talking about, is a major concern of ours. You know, you hear 90%, it sounds good. Not if you're the 10th person. Not if you're the 10th person having a heart attack. Not if the 10th person is trapped in a car. We find it, not if the 10th person, from my specific point of view, is one of us. We find it unacceptable. And I understand AMR's issues, and I don't think it's a lack of caring. I don't think it's a lack of trying. I think what they're running into, and it's going to get worse as the pool shrinks. The fire service in general, we're kind of their enemy because our jobs pay better. Our jobs have a better standard of living for the people who work there. As more and more fire departments decide, hey, this is the way we're going to go, because we're not going to be the ones left holding the bag when AMR closes up one day and says, yeah, we don't work here anymore. It's not worth it. We don't have the staff. Someone's still going to go to those calls, and we don't have the people to do that. So there's departments that are ramping up for that now. Well, when someone comes out of paramedic school, if it's, do you want to go to AMR, sit at the Cumbies parking lot for 16 hours while you run people back and forth to dialysis sometimes, or do you want to do emergencies, which is why you went to paramedic school. It wasn't to drive people back and forth. Nobody has gone to paramedic school in their life to take people back and forth to dialysis, which is a very important thing to do and needs to be done. But that isn't who you attract into that business. You attract people who want to go to and do emergency work, and we're gonna steal them all. And the ones even in the fire service that are in here now, just if you scroll through some of our like hiring stuff for different departments, they're working like free agents in the NFL. You want a paramedic right now, you're not just going to say, hey, do you want to come here? I got a job for you. You need a sign-in bonus. Those guys and girls have, if you go to paramedic school, you can get a job anywhere you want, anytime you want. And it's a shrinking pool, and there's more people trying to pull from the pool. We're at the precipice of a disaster, and it's coming.
Yep.
So we're more than willing to help in any way to try and alleviate that. And finally, going forward, we'll be having fire ops, which is where we take in local politicians, and if anyone here is interested, it'll be a day of firefighting. We're probably going to set it up down here. If we don't, then it might be in Bridgeport, but we'll let you know as that comes up. But that'll be in the fall. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Thank you.
All right.
We're gonna meet tomorrow afternoon.
I'll be up at the graduation watching my 4 new members. Yes. Plus, it'd be nice to have some food in my refrigerator once in a while too.
Okay. Old business.
Nope.
I skipped 11. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Norma, I nearly skipped you.
Well, it would have been a good night because I have nothing new to report, but thank you for calling on me, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dharma. Okay, now old business. Report from the nominating committee.
Nominating committee met virtually, and we have proposing Joe Ozaki as chair and Liam Burke as secretary.
Thank you. I'm not sure why the actual election ended up on new business, but I guess we'll do it that way. Charter revision. Alex is not on. Joe is here. And I don't think they've heard from anybody else on the commissioners in terms of changes. I think what.
Other than yourself.
Yes, and I'm gonna talk about why I did what I did. As Bill has pointed out to me, this is a process and we do have time. But I think we're better served by going through and getting it behind us and getting our bid in early. I provided all of you my comments, some of which is minor, one of which is based on personal history and I think pretty important for the town. It's amazing how life crosses each other over time. My dad was the attorney involved in the city of Bridgeport's attempt to fire Joe Walsh. And originally it was a forced retirement and then Joe sued. Lots of stories about that time in our lives, but the pertinent thing, and then we're not fun. The pertinent thing is that the ultimate court decision, in summary, and I want to try to find the decision, but in summary said, you can't fire the chief of police, superintendent in their language, for failure to manage the department because by charter, it's the commission that is responsible for managing the department. And when you read our charter, it's the commission that is responsible for managing the department, not the chief technically. That's not obviously how we operate or want to operate. But our charter sets it up so that we have a risk at some point, and so I'm advocating that change. So that's the background to it. I'm welcome to tell war stories if anybody wants them offline. But I urge you all, you have all of the documents, both the actual charter, you have my comments, you have a red line version. So please, it's the holiday season. But after the first of the year, if you could get your comments to Joe and Alex, they'll summarize whatever we get. And if you have no comments, tell them no comments. So we at least know that we have heard from everybody and can go forward. Questions?
I'd like to recommend that your comments be forwarded to Jim Baldwin, the town attorney, or whichever of the town attorneys is handling the charter revision, and ask them to find that case, disseminate it, and let us take a look at it.
Thank you.
And let them evaluate.
Yes. That'd be better than me having to find it. Like that. Thank you. We'll pursue that. That's it on that. Agenda. Okay. Charter revision. Election of officers. We have the nomination, please, Mr. Fitzpatrick.
I move Joel Zaki as chair, Liam Burke as secretary.
I need a secretary from Rob Cinto. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Good. And then I need a motion. We are continuing the pattern of meeting on the second Thursday of the month. And so I need a motion to approve the dates as they read in the minutes. I will read them aloud so they're in the recording, which would be January 13th, February 10th, March 10th, April 14th, May 12th, June 9th, July 14th, August 11th, September 8th, October 13th, November 10th, December 8th. A motion and then I'll make a comment.
I'll make a motion.
Joe made the motion, Liam seconded. We always schedule now in the summer in case we need meetings and cancel them if we don't. All in favor?
I got a comment.
We got a
before
couple
we
of
go.
comments.
These are all the second Thursdays? You verify that these are the second. Thursdays?
Personally, I did not go look at the calendar for everyone, but I trust what the staff did.
Okay, and my only other question is, does anybody see a conflict with any holiday on any of these?
I didn't, I looked that.
Okay.
Okay. Chief?
And when we have come to this point every December, we have questioned whether 7 o'clock is the appropriate time. If you want to stay with 7 o'clock or move it to a time earlier for everybody's schedule, one way or another. I don't have a preference. It's not mine to have, but I want to make it a conscious decision to either stay at 7 or to move earlier.
Commissioners' comments?
7 works great for me. This way, if we run into late meetings at work or something,
Right.
we can still get here.
Okay, so at 7 PM on these dates, we have a motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anything else? Then I need a motion to adjourn from Rob and a second from Liam. All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Liam and Joe,
Thanks,
as of
Chief.
now. Joe, as of now, you're
No, not until the next meeting. You still have it for 30 days.